Hey everyone, welcome to day 70. We are now 20 days away from completing our 90 days in the Psalms. I'm so excited. We are entering into a new section of the Psalms today. But first, please share this video, like, comment. I want to hear your revelations. And of course, if you are not subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and click that button right now. Let's get into these Psalms. Alright, so like I said, we are now entering into a new section of the Psalms, and this section is called the Songs of Ascent. These next 15 Psalms are dedicated to the pilgrimage to Jerusalem for various festivals, and they are also called the Pilgrimage Psalms. So let's start with Psalm 120, and I'm going to read from the New King James Version. In my distress I cried to the Lord, and he heard me. Deliver my soul, O Lord, from lying lips and from a deceitful tongue. What shall be given to you, or what shall be done to you, you false tongue? Sharp arrows of the warrior, with coals of the broom tree. Woe is me that I dwell in Meshech, that I dwell among the tents of Kedar. My soul has dwelt too long with the one who hates peace. I am for peace, but when I speak, they are for war. So this psalm may not seem like it fits in these songs of ascent, but it was common to perform self-introspection as people went along on their pilgrimage. Also, the psalm would have been relevant for people who were making this journey because they were coming from far away places. And so they could identify with the notion that they were dwelling and were amongst people who were not God's people, who did not follow God and his law. So the psalmist here is praying for deliverance from the people around him that are lying, that are slandering, and are deceitful. Whatever this man speaks, whenever he does it, it is met with war, with arguing and distress. Now the places here, Meshech and Kedar, are representing far off and foreign places. Those places hate peace. They are not peaceful. So for my revelation, if we go to the Hebrew here in verse 7, we see, of course, the word shalom for peace. But if we break it down a little bit more, a salom in the Hebrew also meant peace. And if you transpose that into Salem, that becomes Jerusalem. And so the peace here is not just about the notion of peace. The peace here is actually referring to Jerusalem itself. And so the psalmist here is not only for peace, he is making his journey to peace. And that's how we can relate to it, that we are called on this journey to find peace. So if you are in a place where there is distress, the way people talk and think is disturbing you, or you feel out of place like this psalmist did, you must make the spiritual expedition, sometimes along with the emotional, the mental, and the physical expedition, to find peace. It may be long, it may be tiring, you may have to walk through some dry places, but getting there will be the best thing that you can do for yourself. So we are journeying towards peace. All right, let's move into our next Psalm of Ascent. This is Psalm 121, and I am again reading from the New King James Version. I will lift up my eyes to the hills. From whence comes my help? My help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth. He will not allow your foot to be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber. Behold, he who keeps Israel shall neither sleep nor slumber. The Lord is your keeper. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun shall not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve you from all evil. He shall preserve your soul. The Lord shall preserve your going out and your coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. This psalm, of course, is well known, and it is a description of the journey to Jerusalem. The obstacles here are describing different scenarios one would face on their pilgrimage. The hills here refer to God's active protection. They actually do not refer to Jerusalem or to the temple. It is about God and God only here. And then the rest of the psalm is set up in verse 2. Our help comes from the creator of heaven, the creator of earth, and he is all-knowing, all-wise, and omnipotent. Verse 3 in the Hebrew, the first part of verse 3, is actually composed more as a prayer, so that it's a petition to God to not let our feet slip. Then in the latter half of verse 3 and verse 4, we have the declaration that God doesn't sleep or slumber. And this, of course, means that his protection goes with us 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and beyond. So my revelation for this is the promises that we have right here in this psalm. While this was originally written for a literal pilgrimage, it can equally be applied to our journeys through life. So first we have God as our keeper, Jehovah Shammah, as the Hebrew puts it. He is our guard, our protection. The word in Hebrew actually has a connotation of that of a shepherd. So as we continue moving forward and seeing everything described, it is actually how a shepherd would protect his sheep. This psalm also says that the Lord is our shade, our protection. And here it's referencing protection from sun or heat stroke. And the journey through the desert, obviously there was little reprieve from the sun. So God guards us in scorching seasons. Next it says that God guards us from the moon. And this is a reference to what the mind does at night. Oftentimes we can become confused at night, but also the moon was thought to have brought on mental disturbances. We still hear it today when people talk about a full moon. The word lunatic actually comes from the word luna, which means word. So here it is saying that God protects our minds during dark times. It also says that he preserves our soul and us from evil. And this is Jehovah Shammah again. This is very similar to Psalm 23, right? That he, although we are walking through the valley, although we walk in the midst of evil, he is there protecting us and guarding us. Finally, verse 8 puts it all together. He guards us in everything we do. Okay, today we had 2 short, amazing psalms of praise, songs of ascent. Go back through these, look again, and see what revelations you can pull out. I will see you tomorrow for 2 more songs of ascent. Bye.